I told my friend I was gonna send her this link.
Uh-huh.
So let me go to YouTube and send it to her. Do I send to YouTube or the one on Facebook?
Um, the one on Facebook is through the private group. If she's in the private group, then that's fine. If she's not, then send it.
Hmm. Okay.
Do 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 do. Hello, everybody.
Okay. Anyway,
It's
she would
time.
humble you.
I tried to hear
They be trying to tell you, they be talking about they be listening. She would humble you.
Sipping and drinking. Sipping and drinking. Sipping and drinking. Sipping and drinking. With Chicago and gin.
We so silly. Hey, and y'all too.
playing y'all too.
Hey, ladies.
What's
How
going
you
on,
doing?
man? We haven't seen you in forever.
I know, right?
Yeah, things have been a little busy. How you ladies doing?
Seen you since last year.
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. I thought I was about to tell Sharice I thought I was charging up my phone
Mm-hmm.
and was not.
Shame.
I know. And so now I can't really hear you guys. So hold on for a second while I see if I can figure out how to raise my volume. Maybe.
Do you have it on the charger now?
Yes, on the charger now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Speakerphone?
Now she done left us by ourselves. How have you been in y'all too?
I've been good. I've been blessed. Thank you for asking.
That's good.
Hello?
Why are people single? Is that the topic tonight?
Wise people singles.
Why
Why?
people
Why are
single?
you? Why are you single? I was gonna say first starting out, funny reasons only, sarcastic or funny reasons only. Why are you single, Cherise?
Funny reasons?
Yeah, just one funny reason, like not serious.
Why am I single? Comical version. Because my lips are too small.
Uh, that'll keep you single in these streets.
Girl, I cannot with you. Oh Lord, oh Lord.
I'm
I
still
said because
single
Busta
because
Rhymes has not found me yet.
Lord have mercy.
That'll
I'm
do
Yeah.
it.
still single because Angela Bassett ran off on me.
God,
What's
dog it.
wrong with her?
What
You
is
missed
What
about
is
wrong
the
with
20
matter
her?
with
years.
her?
She didn't marry that dude. What was she thinking?
You missed her about 20 years in y'all too.
She's still thinking Courtney is the love of her life.
Yeah,
Apparently.
man. That's only because she ain't met me. It's because
That's why.
Angela Bassett has not let me whisper
Precisely.
in her ear yet.
Precisely.
That is exactly why.
I'm single because I'm an alien. No,
You're an alien?
because I don't belong on this planet.
Oh
That'll do
Lord.
No, I'm just teasing. I'm not even single. But it's funny to
You
me.
ever been married before
Funny
in
to
y'all
me.
too?
I have never been married before,
Really?
but I want to. I want to. For a long time, I didn't. Well, at first I did when I was like in my early 20s, and then it didn't go good, and so then I went a long time without wanting to. And then I
Hmm.
was wanting to, and I can admit I got frustrated with my inability to curate the type of relationship that I wanted. But I
Interesting.
believe I have arrived.
Uh-oh.
Marriage loading, marriage coming soon.
Sharice,
God
you all go
willing.
on for a second. I'm gonna see if I can connect this headset to this
Okay.
because I can't really hear you guys.
Okay. So you said marriage is loading in y'all too?
I said, God willing, marriage
God
is
willing. How long
loading.
have you all been together?
Not very long, just a little while, but we've
What's a little
we was high,
while?
a few months, but we were high school sweethearts. So
Okay.
we have known each other since 17, 18 years old,
Okay.
and maintain a friendship after the high school sweetheart thing came to an end.
Well,
We
so you
maintain a
all know
friendship.
you know each other.
We know each other, so
Yeah.
that yeah, that's a good thing. There's
Okay.
a pre-established friendship of many many years.
Yeah. That's cool.
Mm. Yeah, I think it's a blessing. I think it's a blessing.
Definitely.
So how about you? Are you single?
As a dollar bill.
So I don't know you, or won't pretend to know you very well, but it seemed like on the show that right in through here, maybe that's how you want it to be.
No. I would
No?
love to be in a relationship with someone who has my best interest at heart and I can grow old with. I would love that. I mean, that I come from a relationship background. I grew up with my mother and my father in the house.
Hmm.
Um, Most of
Me
my
too.
mother's sisters have are married or have been married or have had
Okay.
long lasting relationships. A lot of my cousins have long lasting relationships or are married. Um, so yeah, I would love to be in a relationship. However, what I will not do is lower my standard or lower my expectation of what it is that I desire as far
Hmm.
as what will keep me happy in a relationship.
Hmm.
I don't feel like I have to compromise on that. I will compromise on other things like who I am at my core is just who I am. But on the
Right.
surface, those surface things I can change with no problem. I don't have a
Right.
problem bending, but I won't break. So no, I'm very much open to being into to being in a relationship. Hey Trey, how you doing? I'm very
Hmm.
much interested in that. But
Okay.
I'm not let me say this. I'm not hard up for
Okay. I don't. I'm not one of those men who knock people's standards or preferences or whatever.
it.
I think whatever it is you want, go for the gusto. If you don't
Hmm.
believe you can achieve it, then then it won't happen. Um, but I just was on a post right before I jumped on this with you guys
Hmm.
on social media, and I just wonder how people measure things. There are lots of people that promote the idea that a man knows what he wants with you, within a few weeks and certainly within a few months.
Hmm.
And I believe that's partly true,
Okay.
but I also know and have experienced people who conceal themselves longer than others. And I think that some of the men who promote that they knew right away and it worked out, they just got lucky. But I think if you 30, 40 years old, you've probably thought somebody was the one before and it turned out you were dead wrong, right? So it's like
Well,
this idea that before a man really gets to know a woman, that he knows that she's the one, or at least knows that she's not, um, can be true sometimes, but I don't know if that's absolute. That I have definitely experienced some women who, um, whether they were doing it intentionally or not, or even consciously or not, the conversation didn't go past a certain point, probably for a year, and I didn't even realize. I looked up like, man, you know what? I think we keep having the 5 or 6 conversations on repeat, but because it's 4 other conversations in between, you maybe not catching on
Hmm.
uh to that's how it's going.
Well, for
I don't.
me, the things that I pay attention to when entering a situation with a man, are the conversations stagnant? Like, do we get to a point in our conversations where we can't go any further? Like, I don't know if it's on his part, it's on my part, it's on his lack of information or my lack of information, whatever that is that keeps us from getting past the preliminary stages of what I call dating.
Mhm.
I think at that moment, for me, we can't go any further. And it's just
Mhm.
personality. It's a personality clash. It's not
Right.
that I'm a bad person. It's not that
Me
you're a bad
too.
person.
Understand
It's
that
not
too.
that.
And it's just personality. It's a personality clash.
Jen,
It's
are
not
you
that
Mhm.
have something
I'm
going
a
on in
bad
the background?
person. It's not that I'm about to mute. Go ahead.
Okay, but yeah, that is a factor for me when first approaching a situation with a man.
Right. Do
How?
you think that people, if you don't mind me asking a question, I don't know if you're finished. Let me
Oh,
pause
no, no, no.
before you
Go
before
ahead.
you do. Do you think that it's a given that people know themselves?
I don't think so.
I
I don't
think
I
think
think
people
so
think
people
either.
they
I
do.
think people know themselves for themselves, but who you are to other people can be completely different than who you think you are.
Right. And even with that, I think some people don't even know who they are to themselves. And then sometimes
Right.
even when people do know who they are, I think it's a skill to help somebody else get to know you. I don't think that just comes naturally. I don't
It
think
does.
the types of questions to ask people comes naturally. I think a lot of people, unfortunately, don't have a clue because not because they bad people or not because they stupid, but if no one gives you the tools, if no one gives you the guide, then how do what to ask until it's too late in many
Exactly.
cases
Exactly. And
to
Yasu,
help you to get to know a person.
let me pause you real quick. For the people in Facebook, if you can put your name in the beginning of your comment so that we'll know who you are, because the Facebook page is private. So when you come through StreamYard, I mean through StreamYard, we don't know who's talking. So it's hard to address you. And I want to be um, respectful when I'm referring to you. But we have someone mentioning because I'm divorced after 21 years and have no desire to remarry, that's why they're single. And
Okay.
I'm guessing that may be the same person. We are healing and afraid, and it's called Six Faces. Can you dive deeper into it's called Six Faces? What does that mean? The commenter that made that comment. Go ahead, Inyasu. I'm sorry.
They said it's called Six Faces, like
I'm
FACE
not sure.
face.
I'm not sure what they mean by that
Okay, me neither. I've never heard that
though.
phrase or terminology used.
Yeah, I
But
haven't
yeah, I
either.
think a lot of people struggle
Oh,
with
hey, Mo.
with
That's my brother.
what's good, Mo. Struggle with the getting to know the other person part, and also with assisting the other person with getting to know them. I've definitely had women resist me asking questions, and I think maybe it's been partly me because women who don't know each other have said it feels like an interview.
Mm.
Um,
I was gonna ask that.
but I don't ask like the normal what I would think with the normal questions, what you do for a living or what's your favorite color. I'll ask you something like everybody has a confidant. So if I confide in you, who else am I confiding in? Am I confiding in
Mm.
your confidant as well? So it's these. That's to me. That's not an intrusive question. It's not a judgmental or even a measurement question. It's just I really ask what I believe to be get to know a person questions, but I sometimes wonder if people are really comfortable with a person getting to know them besides the resume stuff. You feel good about your job, you feel good about the car you drive, you feel good about the house you live in, but none of that will are the components of a healthy relationship, right? That
I
this your house and your car and your job and your salary doesn't equate to your communication skills, your listening skills, your conflict resolution skills. Those are just. I mean, I'm not saying they're not important at all, but
mhm.
I don't know how they contribute to healthy communication and or healthy relationship. And so it seems like people are more comfortable talking about the resume type stuff, which is
Well, you know
important too.
what? So the first question that you mentioned, that would be
Hmm.
perfect for me because I'm an introvert, and as an
Hmm.
introvert, I don't like small talk. I
Me
like
either.
meaningful conversation. I like to get to the meat of the conversation.
Hmm.
I'm not big
Hmm.
on small talk. So, like I said, when I first started talking about if we get to a point where the conversation is stagnant,
Finally, I can hear.
I'm kind of out because I'm one of those people. You got to catch me in the first 5 seconds.
I know
I'm
that's
like that
right.
with music. When I'm listening to music, the beat has to catch me in the first 5 seconds. If the beat catches me, then I'll listen to the lyrics. Then if the lyrics catch me, then I'm hooked. So and I'm like
Right.
that with people. You have to catch me in the first 5 seconds. If you don't catch me in the
Right.
first 5 seconds with your personality, chances are I've checked out.
Hmm.
Right. I,
I've checked
I
out.
think people. It seems like when you first meet a person, that would be you're not really invested. You haven't developed feelings, so it would seem like that would be the easiest time to be honest. Um, but
Exactly.
I see people struggle with that all the time. I can remember some years back, I detected some trauma with a woman.
Hmm.
So maybe the fourth conversation I asked, said, "Hey, you know, uh, what is a traumatic experience you've had in your life, and did you and or have you or how did you heal from that?" And she shut that question down immediately. And then once we were involved some months down the line, it comes out that your mother told you she don't love you, and that there's tremendous trauma, rightfully so, associated and attached with that.
Absolutely.
And so, it's like, people want to wait till a person is emotionally invested to tell them the truth, but then it makes it more painful if because I I don't delude myself that I can have a healthy relationship with a person who is still very close to the beginning of their healing process, as opposed to the middle. I don't think it ever ends, but they just aren't very far along um, in it. And so, she concealed that until it became a problem. And so then when she was telling me about it, it was she was in tears telling me about it, as opposed to in a very, in a more casual, less emotional and volatile setting.
So when you asked her that question, she just wasn't ready to reveal that information.
Right,
That's a
right.
lot.
That
And
is a lot.
oftentimes when we're dealing with traumas, when people ask us out of the blue, we suppress trauma. We a lot of us
Right,
suppress trauma. So when
right,
someone brings up a question that kind of unnerves that trauma, we
right.
have to deal with that trauma in that moment. And
For
I
you,
can
for
see
your
her.
for yourself, is there such a question that could unravel you? You think?
For me,
Hmm.
um, there are a lot of questions that could unravel me, but and I try to respond to them in the moment, but emotions come with that. So if a person is ready to see my emotional side, to see my, I guess the softer side of Sears, I don't have a problem talking about it. But
Hmm.
when it comes up, it comes out, and I'm no stranger to tears.
What about you and y'all
Mhm.
too? Is that something that's off limits for you, or that's too touchy for you? Too soon?
Nope, nope, nope. I mean,
Mo, I'm sorry,
if
Ignacio,
you,
let me interrupt you real quick. Mo,
okay,
the link for StreamYard is in the chat. I don't.
Mhm. Tell them to
I
give
don't
us a few, then we'll start letting people in.
well, he could sit in the
Yeah, in
backstage.
the waiting room. Yeah.
Yeah.
right, that's what I'm doing. I'm in the
Well,
waiting room, I think.
No, you on with
But no,
us.
Oh,
We
okay.
see you.
I just had the camera off. Right,
You just
right.
don't have
Yeah.
your
I'm looking.
camera on, right?
Yeah, I'm running my mouth. I'm not even looking at the screen, right? I'm sitting in the car. I was going somewhere and I just popped on Facebook real quick and now I'm in here with y'all instead of going inside the cigar lounge where I'm supposed to be.
It's
But
all good.
anyways, yeah, I don't really, there's no uh subject that would unravel me or that's off limits to me. But that is, on the opposite side of the fence. That has not been what I've experienced. I don't know what made me ask this woman some years ago. Did did she have any health complications or anything that maybe I should know about? Because she was talking about marriage, and she's like, "We don't have to talk about that later." And I'm like, "When? You talk about getting married? Well, I'm gonna marry you, and then you gonna tell me whatever it is that's going
Well,
So
on."
you
I
gonna
would guess
find out later?
if you're talking about marriage, then you would want to know what her health issues are if you're trying to have babies.
I mean, I wasn't even trying to have babies. I'm just,
Oh,
I just want to know what I'm signing up for.
you want to know if she gonna be
You
there
know,
for the
I,
long haul.
I think there's something about my energy and demeanor that makes people fearful that I'm asking to judge or that I have a right
I'll be
or
right
wrong
back. I gotta
answer.
change chargers.
Okay. I think people assume that I have a right or wrong answer in my mind already, but I just ask questions to know. I don't know if it's what's right or wrong yet, or I don't, because everybody's different. So something that I couldn't accept from one person, I could
Mhm.
easily accept from another person, and the flip side of that as well. So,
Yeah.
but I do take responsibility for if anytime two or three women who don't know each other, who've never had a conversation, say the same thing to me, then there's something to that, in my humble opinion, and I'm open to looking at that and examining what my contribution to that is, because I'm the common denominator.
I'm glad to hear
But
you
yeah,
say that, Minyatu. A lot of
okay,
people will hear several people from from several different walks of life say the same thing to them, and it just goes over their head like, oh, whatever.
yeah, no, I
I
know
don't
I'm
need
a
to say
huge
anything
influence
else.
on my life and my results.
No, but that's good.
Huge influence. I'm
That's
the
good.
biggest influence on all of it. So,
But that's good
and
that you
again,
take. Go ahead.
yeah, some people will deny things because it's not intentional, but there's a difference between intent and impact. You can intend all types of things, but that don't mean that was have actually went or that was the actual impact. And so, I look at stuff as feedback, um, whereas I think other people look at things as criticism or some type of judgment or whatever. But you'll never see
Hmm.
yourself the way people see you on the outside. You living with you on the inside. So
True.
it looks totally different on the other side of the table. And so you have to rely on the feedback of the world to some degree. You shouldn't let them dictate who you are, but you can't just ignore the results. But I think most people don't like feedback.
Do you before you? Because I know you got to go inside the place, but do you think just because I want to get your opinion on one of the things I had written down, right?
Hmm.
So because men basically get everything without commitment, do you think that that's a lot of the reason why so many men over the age of 40 or so, when you would think they would be married, are not married because they don't have to?
I actually don't think that's the reason. I think men who just want sex and other things without the commitment, that for some of them that might be their reality, but I think for a lot of men that's their trauma response to them feeling like they can't get what they actually want,
Hmm.
right? That they're afraid that if they put their all into something and are transparent and vulnerable, that it still won't work out. And so, not committing to anything is a way of protecting themselves. And I'm not just saying that they're insecure, because there's some legitimacy to them doubting that they will get what they think they're supposed to get if they invest into a relationship. Things aren't exactly the way they were back in the day. A
Hmm.
long time ago, if you courted a woman properly and you talked to her father and then you asked her to marry you, that's how it's gonna go. And then if she thought she wanted to leave you and call her family, they would be like, "No, girl, you got to stick it out. We're gonna pray." But now we're in this era of individualism where you don't know what you're gonna get. And so I've had different women. One woman came to me and said, "You set the bar for everything as it pertains to dating and relationships with me." But she said that 3 years later. I don't know if she really realized the magnitude of that in the moment. I had a totally separate woman tell me that the first year that we were dating and building a relationship, that I did everything right, but that she wasn't in a healed place to where she could reciprocate and receive that at that time. And so uh, I was at a bar a few weeks ago, and some guys I know from high school and college who are at the very least doing very well for themselves financially and business wise were complaining that they seriously want a relationship, and when they try to demonstrate that to women, there's uncertainty and doubt. Um, and I don't just blame that on the woman. Maybe those women just aren't feeling you, but uh, there's a deficit, on both sides of the fence, I think, and people just don't know how to close that gap.
Hmm. Not stereotyping, period, but just speaking as a woman looking over on the other side of the fence. It seems
Hmm.
like men are way more fragile than they used to be, or maybe it is just that they are more vocal about their fears. Maybe they always did have the fears and they're vocalizing that more, but it's also coming out more in their actions about just fear that somebody gonna use them, or somebody gonna abuse them, or somebody gonna leave them, or somebody trying to trick them, or. So
Yeah, we're
that's.
we're trained and conditioned to deny vulnerability and deny sensitivity or whatever the case may be. But man, listen, men get their heart broke, early on, usually,
Mhm.
unfortunately. And some men get their heart broke early on, and they can't stomach it so much that they can never really bring themselves to commit again after that first heartbreak.
Mhm.
Unfortunately,
Mhm.
but like I say, too, dynamics have changed. There used to be kind of a guarantee if you behaved a certain way, and now
Mhm.
that doesn't exist anymore. I've had women confide in me and like, he's doing all the things I want, and then they would be like, but I don't know. And it's like, wait a minute,
Mhm.
you've been saying for years you want this a man to come along and know what he want and pursue you and court you, and now here this man is doing it, and you keep saying you don't know. Like,
Can I speak to
what
that?
is?
Can I speak to that?
Mhm.
Sure, sure, I
I was
want you
having
to.
a conversation with some of my friends a couple of years ago, and one of them was getting like this really good treatment from this guy. Like it was unbelievable how amazingly good this man was. And we're talking, and some of us are telling her, well, way to go, that's awesome. And others are saying, wait for the other shoe to drop. Something isn't right. And I had to say, you
Mm,
know what? It's bad that we've lived this long and have been through so much trauma in our relationships that we can't even trust when someone is being potentially genuine in what it is that they're doing. Now, oddly enough, we found out he was married.
right. Love bombing does exist. That's what I was gonna say. Love
So
bombing does exist. And
when
so
you
I don't
when
want to
I
pretend
when
like that's not a thing.
Well, we know he's
right,
not
so
afraid to get married. He was gonna try to do it again while he was married.
I understand when a woman is being treated well, but she's still concerned. Like I don't know, I don't know. I've been down this road before, and it doesn't end well.
Yeah.
So I get
And
it.
if he's the wrong one, then you are rightly so trusting your intuition. But the thing
Are
about
both
doubt is it's contagious,
It
but
is.
are both of
right?
you willing to
You
bag up as soon as you see a sign, or do you keep going hoping that it maybe that's not it?
I think, unfortunately, for a period of time, I developed the habit of still moving forward. That I let some people convince me that I was looking for perfection to a degree. And so I started saying to myself, well, everybody has flaws and everybody has humans. So where's the difference between deal breakers and red flags and people just being human beings that aren't
Hmm.
perfect and are flawed? And
Hmm.
because of that outside influence, I think for a handful of years or a little less, maybe 2 or 3 years, I struggled with, just cutting the cord as soon as I saw something, really concerning.
Well,
I'm
you've never
still
been
trying.
married, right, Sharice?
I've never been married, but I'm a
Okay,
Pisces. I'm a con,
so
so
here's
I
a,
live in fantasy land.
so here's a question. What in your mind does marriage look like? Is the experience really like different from dating?
M- So, being raised with my parents, marriage looked one way.
Hmm.
But as a 53-year-old woman now, marriage for me looks completely different. Like my marriage
Hmm.
would probably not be ideal for most people or for some people. In
Hmm.
my marriage, I would the person that would be my soulmate, my life mate, I wouldn't have a lot of stipulations on them, and I would hope that they wouldn't have a lot of stipulations on me outside of me being respectful of them, respectful of the relationship that we've created, the boundaries that we've created, and let
Hmm.
that be that. Like I'm 53, so we're not building a family here. We're
Right.
we're beyond that.
Me
At this
either.
stage, we're just looking for a lifetime companionship and someone to take over my finances when my mind goes.
Mm.
So
You know,
um, my expectations as far as marriage is concerned are not at the level of a 20 something year old getting into a marriage. It is completely different.
Hmm.
right, right. Um, I think that if you, when two people really get to know each other and
Hmm.
they um, are able to create a higher level of trust just based on consistency over a period of time
Hmm.
and loyalty, that I think there's a next level that you can achieve that you can't achieve through dating because you just don't know each other like that to even know how to be as complimentary and as supportive and as connected as you could be with somebody who you built a healthy relationship uh, over some years. And so that's what marriage would look like for me is that, you know, to me, trust isn't believing somebody, trust is expecting somebody to be what they've shown you to be for a significant period of time.
Hmm.
So, this is an extreme example, but if somebody is a crackhead, I'm expecting them to love me enough to stop being a crackhead. That's who they are. And so that's what I trust. That they're going to act just like a crackhead. If you show, I had a friend in college who he exaggerated a lot, but we still friends. You know what I'm saying? Because I trust that you exaggerate, right? And I don't, I don't invest in your exaggerations, but that doesn't prevent us from being friends because I know what it is. Whereas maybe somebody knew that he interacts and he exaggerates, they like this dude is a liar. He just lied, and they can't see past that to see any good qualities. And so when you really know a person and y'all are meant to be together, I think it empowers you guys to be complementary to one another in a way that you couldn't be from just dating and not having that intimate knowledge and understanding of one another.
Hmm.
You know, um, I was telling when you jumped off, I was saying I'm in a relationship now where this was my high school sweetheart 30 years ago, and we were been friends the whole Well, we probably took a year or two. We wasn't so friendly after the high school sweetheart situation, but since then we've been friends all this time. So I just, I know where her heart is, and I know where her intent is, even if every once in a while the impact and the intent don't line up. I still know where the heart is. I know it's not intentional, but it would be impossible for me to know that about somebody who I've been dating for 3 months, or maybe for 6 months, or even a year. Um, it's not enough time to know it like I know what I know about this young lady. That's
Okay.
for sure.
Would y'all trust a friend to set y'all up on a date, pick a mate for you? Is there any friend or family member you would trust to do that for you?
Maybe
I,
one or two.
I I let somebody do that for me, and even though the relationship didn't work out forever, it was a very important and significant relationship in my life that I needed to be where I am now, and that I wouldn't be where I am now without that relationship. I think
Mhm.
that unfortunately we develop a type at an early age based on outside influences, and it really takes a self-aware person to at some point in their adulthood differentiate between the relationship ideals and the ideals of what's beautiful and what's handsome that have been projected onto them, as opposed to what is really their type. um, I spent the most of my life being more attracted to toxicity than to something that would appear healthy.
You are not by
uh,
Mhm.
yourself.
and that's
Mhm.
embarrassing for me to admit. But
I
it's the
think that's
truth, is that
80% of the population.
toxicity was lighting my fire much more than healthy, and I've spent the last year praying to God every day, make
You
me
like them
more
toxic
attracted to
women.
what's
He's like, the
healthy,
more toxic, the
make me
more I
more
like.
attracted. Well, my parents were together and in the household too, but what I was witnessing while they were together and they were in agreement about doing everything they could to raise their children a certain way, there was also a power struggle there. And so that is the toxicity that I ended up being attracted to, were
I see you
situations where
know.
there was some type of
Hmm.
power struggle.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. And so maybe there's this excitement around conquering and winning the power struggle or something, that I was attracted to. But that's not it, and that's not healthy for me, and it doesn't help me to be the best that I can be in a relationship at all. Uh,
Mhm.
Hmm.
but for some, my trauma made it somewhat exciting, or more attractive to me. So I had to work through that and still keep my eye on it to this day.
Silly question, but it's the one thing that's just like, physically you don't like. Is the one thing that could be keeping you from love. What is it? Somebody too short? Somebody with
Mo, we see you in the
yeah, we
backstage. We're
see you.
looking you up.
We're gonna bring you up right after this. So what is the one thing that if you could just live with it, you might be able to find you love? What your friends tell you?
If
I'm
For
I
gonna
could
me,
answer this, and then I'm
somebody
gonna run in the
shorter because
cigar
I'm
bar.
tall. Yeah, I'm
go ahead
somebody
and
Oh,
shorter
answer.
because I'm 5'8".
yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
don't
And
have that. I don't have that. I am attracted to, at least physically, very diverse attractions. That, if I'm attracted to you, I've never been with a woman and wish she had a bigger butt, or wish she had bigger breasts, or wish anything was different. I'm just attracted to what I'm attracted to, and over the years that has proven itself to be different. I like petite women, I like thick women, I like tall women, I like short women, I like long hair, I like short hair, I like blonde hair. I like red hair sometimes.
so you like women.
I can't
Yeah,
really.
he like what he like.
Yeah, it's
You
my
like women.
favorite thing on planet Earth. I like women. Yes, man. Of all God's
Fair
creation,
enough.
I don't play video games. I I can name. I guess I can name the quarterbacks that was in the Super Bowl, but probably nobody else who's on those teams. I like sports, but I'm not a fanatic. But women, yeah, I'll take that over almost anything.
Now that's what's up. I like
I
it.
have to add to mine that and a voice I don't really like. I can't. Maybe
You said who?
a voice that I don't really like.
Or a voice that you don't. You know what?
Mhm.
Now that you
I can't
say
do
that,
it.
that might be a thing. I do not like when women change their voice. I was just in Vegas and this young lady was giving me this squeaky voice and it was driving me
You
nuts.
don't
But
like somebody to talk to you like this? Oh my
she was the
god, you
most
got to.
she was the most attractive woman in the building. But when she talked, I'm like, get away from me.
So what do you do in Chicago? No, that's the voice. So what do you do in Chicago when you're there? I mean, oh wow, that's so
That
cool.
that was it. That was the voice.
Hmm.
You
No,
know
I
what?
can't
Wendy
do it.
Williams calls it vocal fry.
Mm,
Hmm.
The way Kim Kardashian, the Kardashians, the way they talk,
Yeah, a
that
lot of
mm,
person
pride.
was vocal fry.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
yeah,
I was like,
yeah. We
mm.
better bring Mo. We better bring Mo in here before he get mad with us.
okay, you know he
Hey
gonna
Mo,
get.
welcome to the stage.
Hey Mo,
Hey, can you guys
I
hear me?
appreciate the conversations, lady. I'm gonna run in
All
here.
right.
Enjoy, Mo.
all right,
Thank you, and y'all two
Ignatius,
join us
thanks for
again.
coming.
Absolutely.
All
Yes, Mo,
right.
we hear you loud and clear.
Oh, do you
What you
now?
got for
Okay.
us, brother?
Well, I'm going to explain this six faces thing because
Okay.
Okay.
apparently the gentleman said something about what you don't get to meet the right person or something like when you first encounter that person don't give you them you don't get to meet the right person.
Mm-hmm.
That's virtually not going to happen in the lifetime.
Okay.
And the reason why that's not going to happen is because I say it again. There are six faces you wear in life. The first
Mm-hmm.
face is what you wear to the public. The second face is what you wear to coworkers. The third
Mm-hmm.
face is what you wear to friends. The fourth face is what you wear to families. The fifth face is what you wear to that significant other or the wife or husband, whatever. And that
Mm-hmm.
last and sixth face is what you show God, the one that you can't hide. So
Mm-hmm.
you hide all these faces, you wear different faces for different situations, different
Okay.
encounters.
Okay.
So you're gonna, no one's gonna ever know the true you. One thing my grandmother told me a long time ago is gonna take you a lifetime to know a person.
It's
It's
gonna
gonna
take them
take
a
you.
lifetime to know themselves.
Pardon
Okay.
me.
I said it's gonna take you a lifetime to know yourself because you also, you know, you're evolving.
Well, that's part of it. That's
Hmm.
part of it. You're gonna. It's gonna take you a lifetime before you know yourself or any other person. Because
Hmm.
here's the thing in relationships, and this is what I have a tendency to kind of chuckle at, is when people say, I want to be equally yoked.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse my French, but that's some bullshit. I hate when people mention that. Because let me tell
Mm-hmm.
you why. First and foremost, when the Bible talks about equally yoked, they're talking about that if you believe in God, you should not be with someone who doesn't.
Right.
That's the term equally yoked. That's how it's been written in the Bible. That's how it's been translated. Men have taken that in society and used it to their advantages, not
Mm-hmm.
to dilute the religions. And that's why they separated. Oh well, a Jew can't be with a Protestant, and a Muslim can't be with a Catholic. They did that because they didn't want to dilute religions. So that's why they took that and ran with that whole thing. So when you talk about somebody trying to be equally yoked, that's not going to happen because here's the thing: we're going to constantly evolve. I'm going to evolve. You're going to evolve. So we're never going to really get to know each other personally because we're constantly evolving. And if
Hmm.
you're constantly evolving, there's no way you're going to get to know that person. That's just my take.
Hmm. Yeah, I can see that because you're always changing. Oh, come on now. My sound trying to pop back on. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Some of the things that I saw when I was looking up about the subject of why you still single, it said trust
Mm-hmm.
issues was one of the things. I'm gonna go down the line of some of the things. So trust issues
Okay.
was one of the things. What are you guys' thoughts on that? You think trust issues has a lot to do with why there's so many people single at this big age?
I think that's probably at the top of the list as to why a lot of people are single.
Hmm.
Especially the older you get, the less trusting you are because
Mhm.
your experience has taught you or dictates that you can't trust people right at
Mhm.
the beginning.
Mhm.
When you're younger, you're a little more naive, you're a little more green, you're,
Mhm.
you're open and more easily, it's easier to get into a situation with someone when you're younger because
Okay.
the expectations haven't necessarily been set in stone for you. But at our
I
big
can see
ages,
that.
our expectations are set in stone, and and trust has a lot to do with that.
Mhm. I can see that because, as I said before, when you're babies say what they want. I love you. I miss you. Don't leave me.
Hmm.
Come see me. And the older we get quieter and quieter and quieter and quieter, and to the point that we just suffer in silence.
Ooh,
I miss you,
suffering.
but I won't tell you. I love you, but I can't tell you that. I like when you're around, but I ain't gonna be the first one to say it.
I was just gonna say I don't want to be the first
Mhm.
to say it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as a woman, I can't.
Right.
Yeah.
Dana
So
made a comment before we go. Hold on one second. I wanted to read Dana's comment. He said, "Both men and women, we are acting like there are only bad people and no good people out here. We are afraid of pain. We don't have regular conversations or social gatherings where we interact without pressures of automatically assuming we are headed to a relationship. There is no happenstance meeting and getting to
Mhm.
know people and eventually finding out that we are interested deeply. Excuse me. I
Mhm.
get that. I get
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What were you about to say, Mo? I think you were about to say something.
I'm gonna go back and address what I heard you guys say earlier. Like the gentleman was saying about the the dating process, and the biggest problem I see out here, and again, this is just my opinion how I look at things. The
Hmm.
problem is people expect too much from a freaking date. If you're going on a date, go and have some fun. It
Right.
ain't about no damn interview. The
Hmm.
interview took place when we was on the phone and we was talking.
Hmm.
So we can pass that because here's the thing. How many times you all been to a job on an interview and no folks ask you across the desk, can you work holidays? Can you work weekends? First thing out of your mouth, you say yeah. And then the first time they ask you, well, can you come in this weekend? Nah, I can't do it. See, if you gonna lie at the job in the interview, why you ain't gonna lie to that person across that you're trying to get to know in the interview? It's the same concept.
That brings me back to a question we had on the table earlier. What is it that would unravel you or you're uncomfortable talking about on a date or a first date that you just feel like you don't want to talk about?
But basically, I don't want to go on no interview. I don't want to go on an interview. If we
What
talk,
is you have to define to us what an interview is? What is an
interview
interview
is
to you?
asking me questions about my credit score, how much money I make, how long I've been in my freaking job, how many cars I got, do I live alone? Listen, all that ain't necessary. I'm out here to have fun with you on this freaking date. Let's get past that. And then here's the thing. If we get past this, then we can talk about some other things. But I'm not gonna sit here and waste my time trying to convince you that I'm this right guy. When I say right guy, like I said, conducting the interview. Don't ask me about how long I've been at my job. Don't ask me if,
Most
if
some people are not good conversationalists, like they're not comfortable in that area. And maybe just for them, and not every single person is asking that, maybe they're just making conversation. So, what do you do for a living? How long have you been at your job? You enjoy what you do? Because they're not, they're just making conversation. They may not be making note and taking note or even judging you about it. But some do. That's not to say that some don't. But
Right.
that doesn't mean that every single person that sits down with you is quote unquote interviewing you. They just, they don't know you. And so they're just asking basic questions. What part of
no,
town do you live in? But do you have, how many cars you have may just be what your interest in cars are.
but
What
here's
kind of
my
car
thing.
you
And I
drive
personally,
could be that they
Here, here,
digging for gold.
here's my thing. Didn't we get past all that when we were talking on the phone?
But that doesn't mean she
Because
memorized that. She
that's
came
what
to
got
the
us.
table.
That's what got us to the date. because
Yeah, but
we
that doesn't
discussed.
mean that she memorized it. She
I
might
got
just
that.
be talking again at dinner.
But even if she comes back and say that again, I'll be like, well, listen, I'm not here to discuss that. I understand you might have some generalizations as far as question. I'll redirect it. I'll simply just redirect it. Oh well, listen. How do you what you think about this place we about to go to? Have you been here before? Do you like this? Have you ever been ice skating before? I'm gonna redirect it because again, like I said, I'm not here for no interview. I'm here. Even if you want to make that a conversation piece, that to me, that's not the purpose of me asking you out. The purpose of me asking you out is to see if we can make a connection. And how we gonna make that connection is by going out and seeing if we could gel together by having some fun. Even if we did decide that at some point there is no relationship, at least we established that there's some chemistry between us that we can still be friends.
But
But
Moses,
maybe connecting for you is not.
your
Um,
your method of doing things may not be her method of doing things, and you
uh,
have to be open and receptive to that, as well as she has to be open and receptive to your methods. So you may not like the interview, but it may be necessary for her to ask a few questions in order to move forward, or that to so that she's in her
okay.
comfort zone. Maybe the
Mhm.
answers from those questions will bring about some comfort for her. So I get that that's not what you like, but it's not very off-putting for her to ask those questions. Those are standard questions. Well, maybe not this credit score and all that other stuff. That's a little
Yeah,
personal.
I mean, asking somebody what their credit score is, that's down the line stuff. I mean, are
Right,
you thinking
exactly.
about buying me? I mean, are you about to ask me to buy you something? Cosigns or something?
Well,
I
you
mean,
better not be asking me my credit score. I don't care how long we've been together.
I have never asked anybody their credit score. That ain't none of my business.
Exactly.
Hmm.
What they got to do with us again, going out and having fun.
Now,
And I
your
get
credit score is important if we talking about buying a house one day, or what your credit score look like, you know. But and if you say it ain't good, and you say, well, let's work on getting it up then, you know. So,
Yeah.
but
Then,
that's my point. How we gonna ever know how good my credit score is if we can't get past the fun part of having a date first?
but I tell you
So
what, though, Moses, you could tell her I have great credit and keep the conversation moving because that don't mean you're gonna like up because I got
well,
great credit, so it's
let
another
me just
reason for
say
you to
this:
try to
if
get
she's
at me.
asking you your credit score at when you go on the first date, you could just end the date right there. Just
oh
end it,
that trust me, it would end that
Hmm.
day. It would end that
Hmm.
day. I
because
don't care
that's
how
out of line.
I don't care
That's
how
out of
fine
line
she
for me.
is. I
You
don't care
couldn't
how
be a
fine she
man
is.
and ask me my credit score. My credit score is I own a house and I have a car. What more do you need to know? That's my credit score.
My credit score is, like I said, unless you about to ask me to co-sign or do you want to
Hmm.
buy me something? I mean, you know.
Well,
Now I'm gonna
I
tell you. I'm gonna tell you something I get that's always a little off-putting to me. So what do you
What's
do?
that?
Um, I sing. What you do? What you do? What you do for your 9 to 5? Well, I sing. Well, how you pay your bills? That is so irritating to me.
No, let me tell you what's irritating from me. What are you looking for in a man? You really think I'm finna sit here and tell you, give you the blueprint of how you can walk all over me? You think I'm finna do that?
Yeah.
but you know what, Cherie? Even
What?
if you don't get that blueprint, I'm gonna tell you what. As a
What?
man, as me as a man, I'm gonna find out. Let me tell you why I'm gonna find out. Because
Why you going?
I'm gonna do something what average people don't do on dates. I
What's up?
listen. I'm gonna listen because if I
What?
listen long enough, hold on, let me finish my point.
Go ahead.
If I listen long enough, you're gonna tell me everything I need to know. What that
And that's
last
the
guy
point.
did and what that last guy didn't do. All I gotta do is just listen.
I'm okay
Follow
with
me.
you listening and
Right.
getting the information. But what I won't do is tell you what I'm looking for because then you're going to mold yourself into that person when that's not who you are.
Right.
I always tell them, I say, look, be who you are, and I'll let you know if it works for me.
But if I listen long enough, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna mold myself to
Yeah, but
whatever
that goes
if
both ways. We're both
if
going to tell things about ourselves in the way that we speak and in the way that we carry ourselves and in what we do for each other. So I'm gonna figure out what you like just by the things that you do for me. Because we often do for that other person what we want done for ourselves. So I'm gonna figure that out right off the bat. But what I will not do is give you the blueprint. You gotta be yourself. Be yourself.
Yeah, do you?
Because yeah, do you? Because I'm gonna let you know whether it works for me or not.
Because
But
if
I'm
you're
gonna
gonna be
go
the kind that
force
keep
myself
going and going, but
somebody
I'm
that's
just saying,
not to
how do you
please
pay
me.
your how do you pay your bills? I mean, how you use your bills paid? Well, evidently they getting paid. Did I ask you to pay a bill for me? Now, see, that's when I think you ought to be concerned.
Right. Hey Stephanie, how you doing?
Hey dear, how are you? I'm
I'm
good.
fabulous. Good to see you.
So I don't really know a whole lot about the dating scene because I haven't did the dating scene in such a long time. But
Mhm.
I do think that we have to be in the reality of what the world is now, and nothing in the world is the same as it used to be. Nothing. And for us to try to look to some normalcy in dating, in relationships, or any of that, I think that's just the reality of it is that nobody is really living in a reality. Like you take a group of people like us right here that's talking. We can have these type of conversations because we came from a different period and a different time. The majority of the people didn't come from that time period and they don't even know anything about it. I don't meet many young people that think on the same lines. Everybody is just in for what they can get for themselves. Everybody talks about love
Mhm.
and relationship, but love is not what love used to be. I can't
Look,
really explain it.
we had the newspaper thing that came out every Sunday that told us love is. That's how we
Exactly.
learned what love was.
Exactly.
Love is holding her coat when she. Love is saying you're sorry when you know what I'm saying.
Now, love is if you can buy me a new pair of Gucci shoes, if you can get me some red bottoms, there are stipulations. And I understand that everybody should have their own, um, everybody has things that they like and they dislike. That's true. But right now in this world we living in, love constitutes what each person
You
can
got.
do for the other person.
Imagine this when we were younger. Did anybody ever discuss who was paying for the date?
Not never.
And still don't.
I mean, they discuss it now.
Not
I
the
don't
first.
discuss it, but they
We talk,
discuss
we
it.
see we talking about a different group of people. There isn't a big variety of people that's like this group of people in the world anymore. I talk to young people all the time. I have young people all around me. I still have children that are young and grandchildren that's 21, 18. So I listen to the things that they look for and the things that they're focusing on. And so many of them are sad because of the things that the world is focused on.
They should be.
They should, but the sad thing about it is they're sad about it, they're depressed about it, but it's nothing that they know how to do about it because it's just the world.
Hmm. One of the other things that was on the list of why people are still single. Dana, let's look at Dana's point. He said, if you're asking credit scores, we're not dating then. We must be business partners. Wrong category. Some people do treat, deal, look at marriage as just that, a business arrangement.
Yeah.
You
I
you
could
know
never, but some people do approach it that way.
you know how many people I've heard say that, like within the last couple of years, say that
Mhm.
when you go and get a marriage license, somebody told me this. They say, you ever saw in the Bible or anywhere else where there was a marriage license, said you went and you chose a wife, you took and you promised that parent or that father that you were going to do for that wife and take care of the home or whatever. In the Bible, they said, but now we sign contracts.
Hmm.
Mhm.
What was a contract then?
And you pay the
Verbally.
state, and you pay that state
Hmm.
from that license.
Yeah, all on paper.
Yeah.
But see,
Mm.
it's different now because remember, there was also where the men were discarding women. So remember
Hmm.
that Jehovah said the Bible talked about there being a rock where the women went to that had been discarded from their husbands and
Hmm.
cried. So we have to understand that maybe that's how the contracts came into play because the men were throwing the women out in the street.
So we got to put something down. Make sure that don't happen.
Well,
What do you?
can I interject on that contract part?
Yes,
Hmm.
go ahead.
Okay, so that contract part came about again, like everything else, with man and society. Contracts
Hmm.
became marital contracts because if you go back and look throughout the Bible, show me at any point where God uh, ordained a marriage.
Never.
Exactly. Because if he ordained the marriage, that would have been a marriage between Adam and Eve.
Exactly.
So there was never a marriage. So again, with that being said, man made that a contractual agreement. You know why?
Well,
Because
now I
that's
don't know. I don't know about that, Moses,
allow me
because
to
with
finish
the
first.
scriptures,
Allow
wait,
me to
what the
finish.
scriptures, what the
Hold on,
scriptures
hold on,
do
hold on,
say.
hold on. Allow me to finish first.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So if you go back and think about it, men has came back and again made that contractual agreement because during the Egyptian times and all the pharaohs and everything else, if that man had a debt and he died, that debt died with him.
Exactly.
So there was no way for them to collect on that debt unless there was a bond or some type of contractual agreement, whether it was verbal or written, that once they got it, they consummated their marriage, that once he died, now the wife would take on that debt. So that's what that came all about. Because again, they didn't want to lose out on things. Because
Mhm.
like I said, when that man died, that debt died with him.
But see, I think our contracts are different now. The contracts that we have in this world right now is a lot different.
I agree.
The-
Hmm.
the-
I was
These
going to say
contracts,
that.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. We're on a slight delay.
So the contracts that we have are so different because every person that gets married right now, you basically go and you sign the paper and you sign that contract. So that contract says that you can take this person to court and make this person viable, or this person has to pay this amount of money. And
Mhm.
generally it's the man that has to pay that amount of money. Whereas I think before, even if there was a contract, or if there biblically if there was a contract, that contract was just that man going to the father and giving that father 3 cows for this woman. You hear it was different. Things just different now.
Hmm.
Right now,
But
that
I was.
contract is saying she get half, or you got to pay this amount of money for this, or he gets this amount of money because you the breadwinner. It's just different. Everything is just real different,
Yeah.
and I think it
But
is contractual.
I think it had to become contractual because if you back then women did not work as much as they worked in the home. They worked in the home. They didn't work outside the home. So
Mhm.
for so, but you have to know that somebody is helping you on the back end build something on the front end, and to not be able to just walk away and leave that person with nothing. And
Right.
it's not like she was accruing Social Security or any of these things.
Yeah.
So any money that's brought into the family is into the marriage is considered to be for both of them. So you can see why some of these contracts had to come into play because women didn't have a lot of rights
Was
back then either.
And I
Um,
think it had something to do with the women that were being thrown out into the street too. Remember,
hmm
they
Yeah,
were just
that's.
taking them wives and just leaving them. Grab
hmm
another wife and leave them wives out in the street.
hmm But I was going to say too to Moses that in Genesis, God didn't just, like throw Adam and Eve together. He made her, he brought her to him, and then he said, this one is to be called woman. And from that point on, it was always talked about marriage, getting married, 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 married. So you have to know that that was God's intent from the beginning of things, not
Oh, I
shacking.
told
Like they was the first two, and it wasn't like y'all just shacking. Like it wasn't.
exactly.
Really?
Right.
So I still don't see that in the Bible. Show me where it says that God didn't say that. Because
That God
if he
didn't,
did, what he
God didn't
said,
say what.
hold on. You said he
I'm
said
asking a question that God didn't say what.
that they. I'm trying to answer it, that they weren't shacking. Because here's the thing. God never again. He brought forth a helpmate for Adam. He
Mate?
brought forth a helpmate.
Did you say mate?
Helpmate.
Mate.
What's
Mate.
a mate?
A mate is somebody that you can partnership with. Don't mean it's got to be contractual. Don't mean it got to be a marriage. I can say I got a
Mhm,
mate right here, and we could be cohabitating together. My mate
mhm.
is whoever I feel like cohabitating with. It doesn't say
But
that.
you,
Go look it up.
but you
Look it
do know
up.
that the Bible makes provisions within it too as to what would happen within a divorce and how women, you could even then you couldn't just do what you wanted to do as it were. There were still rules that you had to follow within that marriage.
Well, of course there was rules, but go back and look. Listen, I'm not here to, um, how I would say, piss on the Bible. I guess it's the best word I can got coming to my mind right now. I'm not here to piss on the Bible, but technically, even in there is a scripture in the Bible that says this as well. Once a man take on his wife, he ain't supposed to work for a year. Yeah, go look it up. I'm
Now,
looking.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you now. I'm pretty versed up in them 66 books, and I don't know if I ever read that, but I will look for that.
Okay. Well,
I will let you know
I'm
if
gonna
I saw that
translate.
because I didn't read it from back to forth like a lot
Hold
of
on, hold on.
times. So I don't know if I ever seen that.
I'm actually trying
But
to describe it for you. So
yeah, find that for me so I can read that one, and I
it
want to look
actually
at it.
says,
I want to look at it in context of what it's saying.
okay, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It
Mhm.
actually says that the man will not go to war for a year.
Or go to
So
war
right.
for a
So
year.
technically, hold on.
Oh, okay.
Technically speaking, war at that particular time was actually going off to war.
To war.
If you looked at it from this day and age and time, war would actually be going out and dealing with your job. Because are you not going to war when you go to work? Are you not going to war?
That was a good one. I
Just
hear
saying.
that
I'm just saying.
one.
So
That was a good one.
we can go back and we can say again, like I said, I'm not here to piss on the Bible. I'm just
I'm
saying,
saying, so people was getting paid for going to war then,
no, you want to get paid to go.
or was
No,
it that they got to stay home for a year so that they could build up things at their own home for their family and all of that before they went off to war? Because I don't think you got paid for going off to war then. I mean, I
no,
don't know, but I don't think so.
no. But here's the thing: when you invaded a country or you invaded a kingdom, what do you take? What's
The
the first thing
spoils,
you take?
the
Huh?
spoils of the land.
There you go.
Hmm
So that was their payments. That was their payments.
It's an interesting concept.
Mm.
It's an
I mean,
interesting
Well,
but
concept.
I can
Okay,
see that.
it's Deuteronomy 24, fifth verse. When a man is newly married, he shall not go out with the army of libel for any other public duty. He shall be free at home 1 year to be happy with his wife whom he has taken.
But see, I can see that because that gives them enough time to procreate.
mhm.
But he
That gives
still be at home working.
Yeah, you can still be at home working. I agree. You can still be at home working.
Yeah, you still be at home working and building up what you got, which is what I said. But I don't know that people got paid. But that's an interesting concept. Always something to throw out there and think about. Let me move to this next point. One of the other things that I looked up about some of the reasons why they listed, like why people are still single these days, is that people are too busy being busy. Do you agree with that?
Most definitely.
I'm sorry, too busy being what?
Busy.
Busy?
Too busy being busy.
Oh, too busy being busy.
Yeah.
Because everybody's trying to build up their treasures.
This why ain't nobody got time to well two sides of this. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Just too busy.
Hmm.
And that's it. That's it.
Yeah. And somebody somewhere thinks that that's a whole conversation. And I checked on you
You
today. We had a
you might not even
conversation.
get a good you might not even get a good morning. You might get a GM.
GM.
And I'll be like, what's that, General Motors?
If you're fortunate though, you know you'll get no, I shouldn't say
Talk
that.
to me in
So,
abbreviation.
so can I elaborate that from a man's point of view?
Yes, please do.
Sure.
Okay, let me elaborate. You all have no one to blame but society itself. Let me tell you why you have society to blame. Because any and everything as human as mankind, we love conveniency. We love conveniency. I don't care who we are. Whatever form of life you walk on this planet, everybody loves conveniency. So, with that being said, technology was able to give us conveniency. It was able to give me the opportunity to not have a phone call conversation, not to, again, going back to the days when you'd be on the phone rapping with this women for hours, y'all end up falling asleep on the phone, all that. No, I don't have to do that all now. I could just send it through a brief text and just tell you how I'm doing and how it's going, and just to let you know that I've thought about you.
Do you think that's better?
I didn't say it was better. I said
I'm
convenient.
asking, do you think that's better?
Well, it depends on the individual. Because again, if it's convenient for me to send a text, I mean, listen, we're all guilty of it. It's not just on one side of the fence where it's just males. Females do this too. Let me reiterate on this. Why you do it?
Women.
Because somebody
Women.
somebody could die on Facebook and everybody put post on Facebook, sorry for your loss. Sorry for your loss. Rest in peace. May God be with you. All this other stuff, but you don't pick up the phone like we did back in the day. Hey man, listen, are you all right? Are you okay? Is there anything that you need? See, we don't do that no more, and we all
Hmm.
guilty of that. So
Hmm.
even though now that men have taken it to another level, and when I say when men have taken it to another level, it avoids the concept of me actually have listen. Technically speaking, when a man walks in the door, and you all been together for a period of time, and he asks you, "Hey, hon, how was your day?" Well, no, you ask him first. How was his day? What's most of the response? It was all right. Would y'all not agree with that? Most men would just say it's all right.
Hmm.
So why do men do that? Because we don't really want to talk about it. We don't want that conversation. But we'll turn around and ask you, well, how was your day? Just to be generous and to be considerate as well. How was your day? Oh, well, the CEO got into it with the FIO and the FIO and the IBM and the EFL. Wait a minute, what the hell? Really, I really don't want to know all that. I mean, I'm just actually being considerate. I don't really want to know
Yeah, I
all
think
that.
I think men do like to decompress when they get home
Well, yeah,
before they can deal with
of
all
course
that.
of course he
Yeah.
wants to decompress. But women are looking for those response for affirmation. Men are not looking for affirmation. We doing it just
Mhm.
out of courtesy or
Yeah,
consideration.
I agree. I agree with that. I agree
So
with
Well,
that.
you have a
again,
perfect
going
mate
back
in me
to
because I'm not gonna ask all them questions. I don't care.
uh,
Hmm.
so
But I do think that the good morning text, the GM text, and every day, and how consistent that can become is just a way of trying to avoid rejection. Another way of, I sent a text, or so it's either trying to avoid rejection or avoid interaction. And let's face it, let's just face it. As I said earlier, men don't have to do all that no more, and they still get everything that they want for the most part. So
ooh, like so.
why should he have to do anything more than that?
What do you mean he get everything he want? Please
Well,
expound.
what I mean, What I mean is, if somebody's still gonna let you live with them, drive their car, uh, share finances with them, and just get everything, but without doing it. If you could get the most for doing the least, why should you do anymore?
Hmm.
Fact.
So you let me get this correct. You're basically saying that even though the man not putting more forth a great deal of effort in
Hmm.
order to have a courtship with this
He's
woman,
still rewarded.
he's still rewarded.
He's still
So
rewarded because the woman gives her access to her body. Like this is what happens for the most part out here now. So if I don't have to do, if I ain't got to give you but a nickel to get all that, why would I give you $1? It just cost me a nickel, and I can keep these other 95 cents.
okay, so let me respond to that. Who doing the choosing?
What when you say who doing the choosing, did the man you asking did the man pursue the woman or the woman pursue the man?
No, no, no. Here's the thing. It's simple solution. You just answered it right there. Oh, man, go pursue. But
Mhm.
who is it at the end of the day to make the choice? Who makes the choice? Don't
The
don't think
woman.
on that too long, y'all.
The woman, but that falls in line with what
Exactly.
Jen said.
That's right. That's just my point. Women
That's
are
her
the
point.
reason why that happens.
Hold on, hold on.
Yeah.
But then again, you sit out here and you saying, man, again, if you make that choice, listen, if you don't hold me to a certain standard, what makes you think I'm gonna give you that standard? So
That's
if you,
exactly what I
oh,
just said.
I know
That's what she.
exactly. Hold on, I know that's exactly what you just said, but you made it seem as if though again, it's like the men are at fault at this. And
That's not what. No, that's not what she did. That's not what she said.
What-
That's
I
not
didn't
how.
say that's what she said. I said it seems the conversation seems as though you're putting this on the men.
No, I
Oh,
didn't get that
oh,
from what she said.
oh, okay, okay, all right. Maybe I did. I'm sorry.
No,
No,
I, I,
what
because
I
I'm the first one to say, Moses. I'm the first person. The first person to say, a lot of women have made it bad for women
The
out here
women, right?
because they accept the bare minimum from men, and women like myself or like Jen or like Stephanie who have a standard that they prefer from a man. The men are like, well, why do I have to
Why
live up
won't you do that? Yeah,
when I can get the bare minimum? I can do the bare minimum and get the most from this person.
right.
mm,
That's what she's
Nine,
saying.
now if it's 10 women in a line, 9 of them let me did it. What you mean you want? Would you want the other 95 cents? It don't cost me but a nickel all up and down
Exactly.
this line.
but see that this is where my man goes. You right, it don't cost but a nickel up and down that line. But you gonna go out there and you gonna give up that nickel and she's going to go for the next person that decides to give her a dime. So it's your choice. You choose. It's choose whether you want loyalty or you want somebody that's just looking for something. I don't care if you go get that dime because if that's all you looking for, go get that dime. I'm there.
but let me interject on this again. Again, this sounds like a standpoint of. I know you all are saying that women have dropped the standards, but you don't think on some end of the spectrum or the equation or the equator that men have dropped their standards just as well too? Because
No,
that
No,
allow me to finish, please allow me to
you
finish.
asked the question.
Okay, so you answered now. Let me reply on that. Uh,
Okay.
so yeah, we have, because in the same sense, again, guys, individuals like myself, Cherie know me quite well. Retired, well, financially, all my kids are grown. I got what I need to keep me moving, and anybody that wants to join in. However, though, you'll go get Pookie that is driving in your car, or you'll go get Mookie that is still living at home with his mama, or you'll go get Ray Ray that's still putting his hands on you. And a guy like
I
myself
guarantee you,
come
Mookie
along,
and
or
ain't never
other
been by
guys
my
of certain
house.
standards. Let me finish. Other guys of my standards and my quality that will come up and approach them. Oh well, you know what? No, I don't think because again, I'm used to this. I'm used to this. I'm used to a guy dogging me out. I'm used to a guy. Oh, what you showing me real love? Oh gosh, I ain't never experienced that before. So men have dropped their standards as well. This not a one-sided this not a one-sided affair. This men have dropped their standards as well.
But
Because
some
again,
men like to have them a project,
So let me
them fixer uppers.
so let me just
and women
interject-
don't.
let me interject for a minute because I'm processing what you're saying. You said that men have dropped their standards because they go out here and they pursue a woman, and the woman is so used to Pookie giving her whatever, or giving her 5 cents. I'm trying to understand exactly what you're saying because I think I grabbed the point, but I didn't grab it. So are you saying that men lowered their standards because that's all they're finding out here in the world right now?
I'm not saying that's all they're finding, but they're actually encountering the same things that you're counting on the other side of the spectrum. Just as
So
if though, just though you all just said it from your same thing. You all just said that again. There are women out here who drop their standards. Well,
mhm.
guess what? There are men out here, and I call this.
No,
Let me finish.
I
There,
want to
there,
correct you. I want to correct you. I didn't
okay,
say there were women out here dropping their standards. I said there are
okay,
some women who don't have any.
okay.
Eh,
Correction.
They
Correct.
don't have any.
Oh,
And
okay.
she always got a man.
There, there,
Always. She keep a man.
okay. So with that being said, there's men out here who paying for bum reparations. We're paying bum reparations from dudes that you all dealt with in the past. Because again, this dude that took you down through the ringer, we got to come along, the nice guy or whoever the guy that's well established or got his career together or got himself halfway together. He paying bum reparations from what the trauma that the last guy has given you. So
No,
That's the choice.
no,
That's
no,
a
no.
choice.
So
okay,
that,
that we agree. That's a choice for
that,
both people on both sides
no,
of the fence.
so that ain't what I'm saying. We wasn't saying that there are choices. This is what we were basically saying. We were saying that that's just the way it is nowadays. Women are out there and they're taking Pookie, and they giving Pookie 5 cents or whatever it is. Well, now the majority of the world that we live in, there are women that way. So you almost, it's like, what do they call it? Finding a needle in a haystack. When you find a woman out here in this world that's just real to a man, that's like a needle in a haystack. But you guys have it very easy because if you go get Susie 5 cents, Susie gonna let you do whatever you want to do. Whereas for women, if we're looking for a man that have higher standards than just wanting to give out 5 cents to somebody, it's like a needle in a haystack. You
No,
guys,
no, no, I disagree. I
you
disagree.
guys listen, you guys have, you can run up on almost anything out here in this world today. You might say you give up 10 cent. You might give up 10 cent. But women are out here in their standards have been lowered so much. And when I say lowered so much, they're always looking for the next thing, is what I'm saying. It comes easy for them. They'll get 5% for you. Then they're going to go get 5% from somebody else, 5 cents from somebody else, because it's easy for them to do that. Whereas when you have a woman that has standards about herself and what she wants and what she believes in, she's not gonna go for the 5 cents. But it's so many women out there that's giving out what you want for the 5 cents, you're gonna take it.
And as I stated, I disagree with that. And let me tell you why I disagree.
But you disagree because it doesn't fit you.
No, that's not
Exactly.
true. That's not true, Cherie. You can't answer
But
for me.
but,
Let me tell you,
I can answer for me. I can
right, but
say
you
that
can't
that's
answer
been
for
my.
me. Right,
But
but
that's
I'm not
but you
disagreeing.
say you're disagreeing with her because you don't agree that that's how it is. She's telling you for her that's how it is.
Right, and
So
she's
how
telling
are
me
you
that's wait
disagreeing
a
with
minute.
her reality?
Right, but again, that's not my reality. So I'm
But so you
disagreeing.
can't disagree with her reality, Mo. That's her
Well,
reality.
what he's saying is that he's had a different experience.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
That's
So
what I'm trying to
let
get
no.
him to understand.
Oh,
That's
no.
Yeah.
that's
Okay. So
not his reality. That's
let me
her reality.
understand this.
So tell me
Let
your
me
reality.
may I finish? May I
Yeah,
finish?
I want to
Okay.
hear your
So
reality.
here we go again. So let me try this again. Again, coming to tell you why I disagree with that concept. I disagree, and God rest his soul. Kevin Samuels made it quite clear. A man out here with standards ain't looking for that chicken head. So again, when you said go back out here and give her a dime and she gonna do everything else, no, I'm sorry, that ain't existed. If I have certain standards and goals, I'm not looking for that woman that I can't take into a boardroom and into a bedroom. No, I'm not. Now, if I want to freak on the weekend, that's cool. I may drop a phone bill, but that's not who I'm going to make a life with. Whoever I'm gonna make a life with is going to be somewhat of standards and substance that I could be able to transfer from one gender to another without them missing a beat. And men who have standards, again, will do that. They will pick those type of women. The chicken heads are going to get left out there.
Now
So at the
on
end of
that,
the day,
I'm gonna say, I hope you find just that.
So listen,
Keep us posted on that. And I have to pause this for a second because Sharice says she needs to leave at 10:30. So
I'm tired, and I gotta take my
okay,
meds.
okay. So Sharice says she had to leave at 10:30. So maybe we'll do a part two next Thursday, y'all. What y'all think?
that's fine.
Absolutely.
sure.
So
And
we
bring some more people on. Tell some people to come on here so we could talk
Oh,
about it. And Moses, you
I
make sure
will.
you come on back here next week too. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Moses, remember the conversation you was just having though. Remember
Oh,
that.
of course, I
He ain't
remember.
gonna
I
forget.
listened well.
And
He ain't gonna forget. That's his reality. He ain't gonna forget.
before we shut this down, we need you to follow. If everyone that's watching this, whether you're watching it live or you're picking us up on the playback, follow us on Facebook at So What You Think. Make sure that you're liking our posts, sharing our posts, subscribe to us on YouTube. I'm Chicago Red on YouTube. Follow me. I got a lot of content going on over there. And stay tuned for a lot of things that we have coming up with our panel. We actually have a panel of women that we started this with. So
Mhm.
stay in touch with us. We'll stay in touch with you and invite a friend and tell that friend to invite a friend so that we can grow this.
Oh, and Moses, let me tell you now. And when you come back, and it's the panel of all of us, please be prepared that we are going to interrupt you because we women. That's what we do.
Don't
But
take
there's no malice involved in it. You just pause for the cause and then jump on back in there. That's the way it happens.
That's all.
Well,
But we love you.
I respect that, but that go back to what I said earlier. If you're pausing and interrupting, that doesn't mean you have time to listen. So
You're gonna get interrupted over here now. I'm just telling you now.
okay,
And we'll.
With love. With
listen.
love. So that's what I'm saying to you. Here's an exercise for you to just be like, okay, they interrupted, and then just jump on back in there. You don't have to make the announcement like don't because it's gonna happen. So
Put a pin
no
in your comment
disrespect.
and then come back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
never
duly noted.
disrespect. Oh,
All right, y'all. So thank you, Dana, also for joining us, and Audrey. I see that you were on here too as well. So we thank you for being on here as well.
Hey,
And
Millie.
Millie, I see Millie was on here watching us as well.
Hey,
And
Millie.
next, yeah, and the next time we'll pick up on the same thing and go from there.
all
And we
righty,
will be on at 8 o'clock next Thursday.
Hopefully,
Okay.
hopefully. I'm unraveling some stuff over here at the moment.
I got you.
At the
So
moment.
I
Y'all
got
ready for us to hit y'all with it?
go
Let's go.
ahead.
Join us
Let's
every
go.
Thursday, 8 p.m. Good night.
She's gonna look at me like, are you
She would
serious?
humble you, but would you still want you to next time you see her, remember you talking about take me I want to pay for that. She
If
would
they could.
humble you.
Sip and drink. Sip and drink. Sip and drink. Sip and drink. With Chicago and Gin.
Thank y'all.
Good
See y'all
night.
next week. Bye,
Thanks for
Moses.
coming, Mo.
Good
Love
night.
you.
All right. Bye bye.
Good night.
All
Ain't
right.
nobody said they love me. What's up with that?
Girl, you know I love you.
All right. I'll see y'all.